Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to Geeks Not Nerds, the podcast. I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm the real Manos.
Manos has joined me to do an epic commentary podcast on what film, Manos?
Batman Forever.
Yes, the best Joel Schumacher Batman movie.
Yes. Being the best Joel Schumacher movie is like being the smartest stooge.
Don't you love saying things that don't actually mean anything?
It's fun. I can always do that.
So Manos and I are going to be doing a podcast while watching Batman Forever. So for the next 2 hours, we'll be watching the film and commentating on it. And if you haven't listened to one of these before, what we do is we make this as much of a podcast as it is a commentary. If you don't want to actually watch the movie, we will try to give as much context as humanly possible about what we're talking about as things pop up on screen, so that you could listen to this theoretically without watching it if you wanted to. But if you do want to watch it with us, go ahead and cue your DVD up right now, if you haven't already, to timestamp 0 on the actual movie itself. So not the menu, but the actual movie itself. Cue it to 0, and then you'll hit play when we hit play. Manos, are you ready to go? Are you excited?
I am excited, and I think I'm ready.
How long has it been since you watched this?
Well, I watched 20 minutes of it last night. Before then, I'd say a few years, actually.
Wow, all right. I have to say, I've actually seen this somewhat recently, because my kid likes it a lot.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
It does.
But I'm sure we'll talk about that.
Oh, we will.
Let's get into it. I'm really excited to see what you have to say about this. I don't think I've heard you ever talk about this movie.
Really?
Well, no, that's not true, because we talked about it on the Batman panels, didn't we?
Yeah, our classic Batman panels.
True. So I did hear you talk about it there, but I haven't heard you, talk very in depth on it. So it'll be interesting to see what you have to say just looking at it. Here we go. Everybody ready? Start the movie in 3, 2, 1, now.
Can? All right, the WB logo's up.
Yes, indeed. Here we go.
You might be doing it.
Oh.
And I always did like the way it kind of like blended into that Batman logo.
Yeah, that's fun. Of course, you can't really give this movie credit for that because they were already doing that in Batman Returns with the, they kind of did it there.
Well, this is the morphing thing.
That's true.
They didn't do morphing yet. And here we go to Val Kilmer, who I think is an underrated Batman.
He is not the problem with this movie.
That's true. I think he's the George Lazenby of the Batman movies. I think he got a raw deal. And he made a wise decision not returning.
Oh, clearly. Although I don't think it really hurt George Clooney at all.
No, it didn't. Well, actually, it was a learning experience for Clooney where... Actually, wait, maybe we should slow down on talking about Batman and Robin. We're 3 seconds in and we're talking about Batman and Robin.
No, that's a good point.
Let's save that. All right, now here, of course, is the motif we'll see repeated, I think one more time in this film and twice in the next film, where...
of profusely in other places.
Yes. And...
the suit-up sequence.
Yeah, and this is, of course, the famous "I'll get drive-through" line, which was their kind of message that, hey, it's okay to bring kids to this now.
As much as people make fun of it, and as silly as it kind of is, I'm sort of glad it's there just because it does kind of set the tone so that you know that this isn't going to be like the Keaton movies.
Yeah.
Just kind of know what you're getting into when you hear that.
Yeah, and what's interesting is you'll watch the first half of this film, and it will look sort of like Joel Schumacher's take on the Tim Burton universe.
That's a good point.
The way it's shot and the way some scenes are lighted, and even paced a little bit. I mean, of course, yeah, there's Tim Burton's influence because he was still on as a producer with this film. But I always do consider this the transition film. This was meant to be like, oh, we're going to like get out of, this era of Batman and, now, this is what the more lighter, more stable Batman kind of universe is going to be, more fun. And they were hoping to do this for the next few films, but of course, that didn't work out. But
the biggest change being what Gotham looks like.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Oh, we got to Tommy Lee Jones, and let's see. I think you can tell where his performance goes wrong, and now, right here. I'm not a fan of his performance in this film at all. I don't. What do you think of it?
Well, I don't like it either, and I think that he would have been a great pick for it if somebody hadn't told him that it was based on a comic book. The big problem with Jones and what people have said about him a lot is that he doesn't consider comic books to be art, and he thinks that they're just little kid fare. And it was a miracle that they got the performance they got out of him in Men in Black, because at first he apparently had the same problem there.
Well,
when he first started acting in Men in Black, he was doing this kind of goofy over-the-top thing, and they were like, no, that's not what we want in this movie. And they had to really push him to hold that back.
I wonder what Johnston had to deal with when he directed him in Captain America.
Me too. I was wondering that too, because he's great there.
He's fantastic in Captain America. Maybe he's learned his lesson,
Maybe so.
17 years later.
That's a great point, yeah. Well, of course, he's done two Men in Black movies since then, too. So.
Well, I think it has a lot to do with the director in those cases, where Johnston has a huge amount of respect for Captain America and what he wanted to do, and tie it into, the real, especially a lot of the scenes with Jones is, the real soldiers of World War II. So, he got that. And Barry Sonnenfeld had this, kind of satirical kind of way about what he was doing with Men in Black. And Joel Schumacher was doing this. So, obviously, yeah, he wouldn't have very much respect for the medium.
Yeah, there's no reason he would just immediately have respect for it. You have to do research and you have to read comics for a while before you get it.
Yeah, and I always had a big problem with the fact that, a lot of people said, they didn't get Billy D. Williams, but the problem is Two-Face is like a main character, so they're not going to get Billy D. Williams because he's, at this point in 95, he's not a big star anymore. He's not an A-list star.
Yeah, that's the problem. And it's weird because Tommy Lee Jones has been around at least as long as he has.
But he was an A-list star at this point, where
yeah, he absolutely
his star had faded by 95.
That's right. He didn't do hardly anything between 89 and this.
Yeah,
I don't think.
My thing was they at least should have got a black actor to kind of connect it. Because
that's a good point.
Denzel Washington was a big giant star in 95.
I'm not sure Denzel Washington would have ever played that kind of a bad guy though.
Well, he has played villains.
Yeah, but I'm not sure he would have done a comic book film. Maybe he would have.
For A-list Batman money?
Well, maybe so. I don't know.
He's
really selective though. That's all I'm saying.
Well, he has done worse movies than this. He did that Virtuosity film.
No, that's true.
He did that Virtuosity movie. He'll do this. And now we finally end the credits. Okay.
Yeah, because honestly, nothing's really happened so far except that we've explained a bunch of stuff for the audience that really we didn't need explaining, and everybody talking about it would already know. I get kind of irritated with Batman, having that line talking to Chase Meridian. Oh, you deal with multiple personalities. Yeah, Two-Face is a well-established villain by this point, apparently. And so, they would know that he has multiple personalities. They're only saying that for the sake of the audience. It's irritating.
I know. Oh, I didn't even get to mention, they have that scene between him and Chase, where he does the Batman sneak away kind of thing while you're trying to talk to him. Oh, where he does on her?
Yeah.
Did you notice we see him get out of the way of the camera?
Yeah, he just kind of walks off.
Yeah, it's not that mysterious when we see him leave.
Honestly, when I first saw this, I wondered if it was actually supposed to be him leaving mysteriously, or if they just weren't saying anything that he needed, that he cared about, and he was just bored and he walked off.
Yeah,
I'm done with these people. I'm walking away now.
Yeah, the moment where a character turns around and realizes Batman's gone is lost when we see Batman leave.
Manos, I think there's a major mistake made in this entire action sequence, and that is having an extra, or not an extra, but having this, like, random nameless character get this much dialogue.
Oh, and it's painful dialogue. I mean...
And he's got this high-pitched, whiny voice, and I mean, he's just this security guard that works at a bank. You don't give that guy that much dialogue.
I know, he's basically narrating the scene. It's like, oh no, it's boiling acid!
My hearing aid! And you're just like, we're not reading a comic book, and even in a comic book, you don't need all that.
Yeah, like, hey...
It's boiling acid!
Yeah, hey, Mark Goldman from Family Guy, calm down. We see what's on the screen.
Yeah.
And then, of course, like, Two-Face also says, it's the boiling acid that turned me into me. It's like, okay...
We could probably get all that. I honestly think that there's a lot of missed opportunities. Like, couldn't they have contrived some way to make this Batman saving, I don't know, Gordon? How about make it somebody that we know and or that we will know and care about? Maybe have Batman save Chase Meridian at the beginning of the movie instead of the end.
Or maybe this could have been the criminal that blasted his face in acid or something like that.
That would have been interesting. And again, I wouldn't question it if that guy wasn't talking all the time.
I know. Oh my god. And then it's like, oh no, he gets out. I will say, I do like the pacing and energy of this scene.
Oh yeah,
this whole sequence. Because I mean, it does like. It's a 90s version of the old Batman, Adam West kind of traps.
I agree with you.
And, I have no problem with that. That's part of Batman history. It's part of Batman, what I grew up with. And I actually almost wish we saw a little bit more of that in Batman.
Here's the thing. I could deal with more Adam West level traps and that sort of thing, if only... they had just kept them kind of over the top and clever. Again, we don't want to talk about Batman and Robin, but the biggest problem with that movie is that it's sort of being Adam West, except it's not clever like Adam West was.
No, there's nothing clever about that movie. We'll get to Batman and Robin, but Batman and Robin is so lazy. Everything about it is lazy, which is part of the reason why it's so terrible. This one at least tries.
Yeah, it does. And there's a lot of production value right out the gate.
Yeah.
Everything about this action scene works really. With maybe the exception of an earlier shot we saw where it's really obvious that helicopter is on a soundstage because there's nothing behind it.
Yeah. Well, what about the very heavy wrecking ball that floats in? That scene. I love how, like, in after it crashes into the building, it almost looks like it's bouncing up and down. It's like, boy, that's real heavy wrecking ball there. But I like the sequence. He kills like his henchmen out of anger. And I guess I really do feel like this sequence is sort of supposed to be indicative of the Tim Burton years, and this is what we'll be getting out of. Then of course we see the Gotham Statue of Liberty in just a minute here.
Because this is yet another superhero movie where if it's a big city, it has the Statue of Liberty in it, and we must crash into it or fight on it.
That's true. Well, to be fair to these guys, this Statue of Liberty was in the Batman comic at one point.
Was it?
Yeah, it's even in an episode of the Batman animated series.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I like that he has a yin-yang on the side of his helicopter.
That was kind of cool. Well, he's got a yin-yang on the parachute, too.
Oh, yeah, there it is. This is one of those movies that does some things visually that I think are kind of a cool idea, but really they end up just being like the villain's gimmick. It's like the Joker having smiley faces or the Riddler having question marks. It's not actually about a multiple personality thing.
No, not at all.
We don't even kind of explore it. We just say, no, that's his motif, just like anything else.
Well, yeah, basically that's all the exploring they did is what's his gimmick? Oh, Two-Face, flipping coins, two things. Okay, done. And that was it.
Got it.
They did.
Choose. We can do that.
Because every time, because the one of two moments they do kind of sort of dig into that, like at the end, and his speech at the beginning, comes off flat. I mean, the moment where he's like, "Oh, Bruce, what have I done, my friend?" It's like, you don't believe it. You don't believe he feels that. He's just being tricky or something like that.
Yep, that's right.
And
okay, here comes the big question, Manos. I got to ask you this before we go any further.
Okay.
Do you like Jim Carrey in this role?
Yes. But I don't know. It's sometimes little Jim Carrey can go a long way. I guess so. And Ed Begley is way overplaying his small role too, by the way.
Oh yeah, he was. What I love about Jim Carrey in this role is that he's channeling Gorshin.
Yeah, I mean, obviously. I mean, he's...
all of that's really cool.
The Gorshin stuff is good.
Yeah, the problem with it is just that you want, again, a little bit more dimension to the character. I don't think that you have to be completely, like, devoid of any substance and still kind of channel Gorshin. Because there was always something kind of beneath Gorshin's eyes where you always felt there was more going on with that guy.
Yeah.
Even though he wasn't given really the script or the dialogue to support it. But, like, the actor was always doing a lot more than that script was.
Yes. I have this thing. I don't know if I've told you about this, but I always thought something they should have done with this film was... this film plays along with the same two-villain story structure that all the Batman seem to do, even the Nolan films, where you see one villain get created and the other one is already established. And in this case, it's Two-Face that's established, and watch Riddler go from being crazy to super crazy.
Yep.
A big transition. And what might have been more interesting is if we had seen Harvey go from being Harvey to Two-Face, and we had Riddler all the way through. And actually, that's what we got with Dark Knight, so...
Did you think that before Dark Knight came out?
I did think that before Dark Knight came out.
It's kind of neat because you kind of got that.
Yeah. And, yeah, we eventually did get it. But unfortunately, we didn't get that much Two-Face. We got, like, 10, 15 minutes of Two-Face.
Well, that's true. That's true. At least the character was already really interesting before he got there, so...
he was a great character before.
Yeah, because I'm interested in that guy.
Yeah, and if you hadn't remembered or seen Batman Forever and you didn't read the comics, and your first exposure to Two-Face, Harvey Dent, was, the Dark Knight movie, I mean, wow, that must have been really, really devastating and really emotional. I could see that working.
And a great first introduction to that character, because there aren't a lot of great Two-Face stories to begin with.
No, there aren't. And that was the thing I found so irritating about this movie was Two-Face is a terrific villain, and he didn't have the exposure that the other villains did because he wasn't in the Adam West series.
Right.
And so this was his big introduction to big mainstream audiences. And he's essentially a giggling, over-the-top goofball that would have been just fine a villain to be in the Electra Woman and Dyna Girl series. He is that bad.
The nearly cliched opinion at this point, the nearly cliched thing to say right at this point about Two-Face in this movie is that he's pretty much the Joker with a messed up face.
Yeah.
And but it's kind of true. And the thing is, you don't want two villains that are with that much maniacal laughter working together in the same movie. If you're going to have Two-Face and Riddler be together and team up, as already tired as I was of supervillain team-ups by Batman Forever, and we really only had the one, but I didn't want to see it again, necessarily, unless it was done in kind of a different way. These two characters are too close in just, they jump around, they laugh, and it
seems like, and let me ask you
there's no juxtaposition.
And let me ask you, it seems like Tommy Lee Jones is trying to compete with Jim Carrey in this movie.
I think he is.
Especially when they have scenes together. It's like, oh, man, stop trying to get to his level. You're not that actor. It looks bad. It's like when you go to a play and there's that one really funny guy and everybody gets kind of the bug and wants to be funny. That's kind of what's going on with him in this movie.
Yeah, you're kind of embarrassed for him.
You are, and you're right. It would have been so much more effective if he was like sullen and subtle and angry and quiet, and then he's like put against this crazy guy. That would have been so much more effective. And I guess we probably should talk about other things in this movie.
Oh, I don't know.
Because I could probably talk about how bad Two-Face is in this movie, probably this whole movie.
Well, and the reason is because it's so frustrating, because you want Tommy Lee Jones to work in that role.
Yeah.
I don't think it was a miscast. I think that he wasn't directed right.
Yeah.
Now, I'm with you. It would have been nice to have some kind of a tie between him and Billy D. Williams, but besides that, I don't think he's a miscast.
Yeah.
It is a little strange that just because he and Bruce Wayne were supposed to be friends before, it is a little strange that they're so different in age.
Yeah, that's true. Peter David actually, in his adaptation of this, in the novel, he actually added a scene of them talking in the beginning.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like it took place like a couple of years earlier, and just before he went into the court case with Maroney. Batman and Harvey had some kind of scene. Yeah. And, boy, that would have been cool. But, that didn't happen. So,
Gordon is so goofy in this movie.
I know. He's so...
You have to have Batman in this universe because Gordon is so incompetent. Really? He's running up in his pajamas? Does he live there? I mean, like, really, if he's that devoted to his job, why does Gotham need Batman?
Mm-hmm. It's like, does he also call the Powerpuff Girls when he's not calling Batman?
I think he probably does, and he spends most of his time eating pickles and not knowing how to put his own shoes on.
I'm surprised we can see Chase Marian's face.
Powerpuff Girls! Batman! Can you come save my city?
Oh, but we'll talk about Chase too, because I think that character is awful.
Yeah, and again, she didn't have to be. It's another one of those things where Nicole Kidman is a really good actress. I don't know if you like her. I like her quite a bit.
I'm indifferent towards her. I've seen her do some really good performances. And I've seen her do some really wooden performances.
Okay. I don't think she does bad in this. I just don't think there's anything for her to do. Yeah, so it doesn't really matter.
There was zero for her to do. And, it's funny. Ed Begley Jr. is one of these actors who has been in a Batman live-action film and has also been in the animated series.
Who was he there?
He was the actor, I don't remember the character's name, but in the episode Joker's Favor, where Joker...
Is he that guy?
Yeah. Where he's torturing that poor guy.
That's cool. Well, that means he does really good voice modulation, because that doesn't sound anything like this guy.
Yeah. And he even played Germs, the henchman of Roland Daggett in the Clayface episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay, cool.
That's right. And then he plays a much more cartoonish character in the live-action version, where, I don't know, I mean, he almost seems like he wouldn't be out of place on Bewitched, the way he's like the way he's overdoing his like mustached businessman character. It's like, he's a lot like Mr. Mooney from the Here's Lucy show, actually.
That's really funny.
Like, Lucille, Bruce Wayne is coming.
Somebody put this guy on Gilligan's Island.
And then, of course, I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of the blender on top of that.
No, that's silly. This is another one of those things where at least the Riddler's plot is a little bit more interesting than what they did with Two-Face, where Two-Face is just a motif, and at least he's an inventor and he has stuff to do with the brain. Yeah. But still, the Riddle motif doesn't really play in very well.
No, it doesn't. It's
a bunch of question marks, and it has to do with the mind, the end.
Yeah, I was thinking about this last night when I was watching a little bit of it, and particularly this scene where he kills Ed Begley Jr., he's almost a different character. I mean, Riddler's never had mind control, like technology. He's never been smart enough to do stuff like that.
Some people have gone as far as to say that they merged Riddler with Mad Hatter in this.
Mad Hatter. I mean, this is Mad Hatter stuff. And, it really is almost like a different character. I mean, would it have been that terrible if Jim Carrey just played the Mad Hatter like this?
I don't know. I'm not sure it would have been.
Who cares if the Mad Hatter isn't exactly like he was supposed to be? I mean, he wasn't really that defined, I guess, until maybe the Roddy McDowall performance in the animated series. Really?
Yeah, that's what I was
Was anybody
gonna say.
really married to a particular version of that character?
No, I don't think so, and I don't think very many people are. I know Eric loves that character, but I'm not sure that there aren't a lot of different ways to do him. And I mean, Riddler's definitely a character that I could see different interpretations of, but don't you kind of want the riddles to play in more of a way than just he's got this thing sitting on his desk with a Riddler costume, so he comes up with it that way? I mean, I know that's later in the movie, but I'm going to forget about this if I don't mention it here. Isn't that really, really indicative of how they weren't sure how to make that work, where he has to sit there and come up with a name?
Yeah.
Where he's like, I could be the puzzler. Oh, I know. I'll be the Riddler. And you're just like, he wouldn't have had to do that if they had found a way to make the riddle motif actually fit into his personality more.
Yeah, and
or at all.
Is that like a thing? Is there like a Riddler thing that I mean, there's a little bobblehead Riddler kind of character on his desk in the earlier scene, and it's not like the Joker where there is kind of a Joker before the Joker was created, in cards and like Harlequins and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
There's no Riddler thing. There's nothing like that. Riddler is an original creation.
Do you notice how they keep tilting the camera?
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Late 60s.
And here's GNN. Here's all we get about Two-Face. I mean, Nolan spent a whole movie doing this. And we get this here.
Does anybody else think it's a little bit silly that Batman's just sitting in the audience in full costume?
Yeah, I mean, to make it less silly for me, I've come up with a scenario that he was racing to the courtroom.
But it really looks like he's just sitting in the audience.
Possibly. And I like how, C-SPAN had, camera angles.
Yeah, I know. I hate it when things do that, where you're just like, obviously that's not what it would really look like. The worst thing ever is when you get something like that to show Star Trek, where it's on a view screen, and the camera's panning around to show you things. But who's operating that camera?
Yeah, I mean that's the exact same thing. If back when Reagan was shot and you watch the news and there's a perfect angle of John Hinckley shooting him.
Yeah.
How'd that happen? Maybe the cameraman should have tackled him if he had that good of a shot.
Oh, I know. The script knew who the murderer was going to be. That's what it was.
Oh, hey, guess what? Hey, in this scene at the very left, can you spot this actor on the far left of that screen? You know who that is?
No, who is that?
That is director of Iron Man.
Really?
Yeah. What's his name?
Hilarious.
What's his name?
Wait,
Jon Favreau.
That's not Favreau, is it?
It is Favreau.
That's awesome. Okay, so I just gotta say, because I like to make fun of Gordon in this movie because he's really silly. I just love how he looks at that note and he goes, looks like suicide to me. Case closed. There's nothing suspicious about this at all. And then you've got Bruce going, his suicide doesn't make any sense. I'm smarter than everybody because I'm Batman. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, but you can only get away with the I'm Batman rap if you're actually a genius and you don't have to dumb everybody else down to make you look like a genius. Mm-hmm. Now, maybe it's supposed to work because this movie's a little bit sillier, and so it works on kind of more of a level of kids fare. And I mean, that's the only way I can possibly explain it is, it's a more dumbed down universe, and they did it on purpose. But I don't know. They didn't have to.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
they could still do the fun over the top stuff and make the characters make sense, I think.
There's several characters in DC Universe that, if you write them poorly, they come off in this kind of cliched way. And Lois Lane is kind of that. over in Superman, where, she's the damsel in distress and can't do anything. And Gordon is like that, the guy who's just helpless and can't do anything and needs Batman every 3 seconds. And I don't know, it just shows you, where, thank goodness for Frank Miller. Because, he was a big, big influence on,
he has a green phone.
Yeah. See?
He has these Riddler things everywhere. Like, I didn't realize he had 2 bobblehead things on his desk also. That's overkill, man. Like, why is he so obsessed with this thing? So there's this monkey suit guy, there's this guy that looks like he's a monkey guy in this, like, question mark booth wearing a Riddler suit, right? And then on the desk, there are 2 bobblehead things with the same suit. Yeah, where did he get these, and why is he so obsessed with them? And man, I also got one more question for you, because you were talking and I didn't want to interrupt you, but sure. Before that scene, when we get the establishing shot of the cityscape while we go to his apartment or whatever,
yeah.
What are the odds that there is a crossword puzzle themed laundromat? And I couldn't figure out if he was supposed to, like, live in the laundromat, or if that was just there next to his apartment. But he has kind of a weird looking apartment.
Yeah, he does. I gotta say,
by the way, the song over that scene is a really good song.
Yeah, I love that song. That's the Flaming Lips, right?
Yes.
The Flaming Lips has got a song in the Batman movie.
Great song. By the way, this whole soundtrack was really good.
This is actually the best of the soundtracks, I thought.
Yeah, the big song from this movie, of course, was Seal's Kiss from a Rose. And I don't care what anybody says, that's a great song.
Actually, I thought the biggest song was probably the YouTube song. The Hold Me, Kiss Me, Kill Me, Thrill Me.
Oh, well, yeah, that was there too. But, like, okay, maybe that charted bigger. I don't know, but what
was the main? It was the main song in the soundtrack.
Sure,
but the Seal song probably did bigger.
Though that song got a music video and of scenes from this movie. The Seal song.
There's some really good artists. There's U2 and Seal and PJ Harvey and Flaming Lips.
Yeah,
songs on this album. And hey, why are we showing that she can fight for herself? She never does anything else for the rest of the movie.
She never does that at any point. By the way, I really like complaining about this, so I'm going to. Bruce Wayne barreling down a door without first figuring out really what's going on in the room is dumb already, but even dumber because we're right next to the police department. Or are we in the police department? Aren't we inside the police department?
I don't remember.
I really thought that the establishing shot was this is the police department. But anyway, I'm not sure if I'm right about that, but if it was, wouldn't that be the dumbest thing ever? Because that's not inconspicuous at all.
Yeah.
At all. It's like, yeah, Bruce Wayne's gonna barrel down a door inside the... Anyway.
I know. You think he'd be better at lying and covering up and stuff like that.
You know what? Say at this point...
Hey, this version of Val Kilmer's face looks like Schwarzenegger.
Oh, on the riddle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before we get too much further into this, because we're already half an hour in, and I feel like all I've done is complain about this movie. I actually like this movie. And a lot of it's nostalgia, because I grew up with this movie. It was a really big deal when it came out. Yep. And it's a lot of fun, and I think that it has a lot of good ideas for Batman that play up later on. And what frustrates me about it is that the little bit of Batman psychology we get, well, in fact, some of it's in the scene. The bits of Batman psychology that we get in this don't really mesh with the goofiness of a lot of the rest of it. Because it's actually more about Batman than the first 2 movies were, which is ultimately why I like this movie a lot more than I like Batman Returns.
And Schumacher did want to make it even more about Batman. There were scenes cut.
Yeah.
Where he really kind of, all that stuff with embracing the Bat and stuff like that, and kind of finding his memories about attached to finding the cave. There was even more of that in the film, and that was cut, I guess, because it wasn't dumb enough. So
yeah,
they cut that. It's like, whoa, this is a little too smart and mature. Let's back that up.
When she shows him that ink blot, I'm sorry, y'all, but that's a bat.
Yeah, I know. It's like
it's a bat, and she's like, well, well, it's whatever you think it is. So I guess the question is, do you have a thing for bats? I'm like, no, everyone watching this has a thing for bats because it's a bat. And I love how she has a doll that just happens to kind of look like Two-Face.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
I mean, again, they could have played that up thematically and done something with it, and then I wouldn't have minded. But again, it's just kind of a motif thing. I'm looking around in her office for something besides those riddles that they just got that are about the Riddler, because she seems to just have something in this office from every character.
Yeah, she doesn't seem like she's really that into her job. I don't know. It's just, it's something that used to really, really irritate me was when Dark Knight came out. One of the few criticisms I hear were like, not professional critics, but amateur critics on YouTube, like us.
Like us, yeah.
They were like making fun of Maggie Gyllenhaal's looks and saying she wasn't attractive enough to be like the lead female in a Batman movie, which used to kind of make me angry, actually, because first off, she is really attractive, and two, I was thinking why they were saying. I was trying to figure out why they would say such things, and I would look back to the '90s films, and I'm looking at Nicole Kidman here, and her character is a police psychiatrist, and every scene, even in her office where she's working out, every scene she looks like she just peeled herself off the cover of Vogue.
Yeah.
And that's not what Nolan was doing with Gyllenhaal and Katie Holmes. Playing that same characters. They were both really attractive women, but they were the kind of attractive women you would see being a lawyer. They can dress up and they can look great at like a party or something like that. But when they're working, they're working. They don't look like, they don't look like they are a Cosmo model or something.
Yeah, and I'm with you. Tell me if you agree with this. I could probably count on one hand the number of people I've seen out in public that look like Nicole Kidman in this movie, but I've seen people that look like Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
Out in public. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and those people are considered beautiful.
Yeah, and you buy. I mean, beautiful people really do exist in real life. I think sometimes we get a little bit frustrated that everybody in a movie has to be beautiful, so we think that real life is just filled with ugly people.
Yeah,
and that's just not the case. I see cute girls all the time when I go out to restaurants and stuff, but they don't all look like her because they're not making themselves up like that. It's not realistic. I think it has less to do with what she naturally looks like and more to do with her makeup and her hair.
Yes, and the lighting. I mean, you can make Nicole Kidman look a little frumpier. But I mean, that's not what Schumacher was doing, and that's not what Tim Burton was doing with Pfeiffer and Basinger.
By the way, isn't that older lady who's playing the reporter?
Yeah.
In that scene, isn't that Bob Kane's wife?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I forgot what her name was, but yeah.
I just wanted to point that out for anybody that
She's
didn't
in
know.
the second film too.
Yeah, she is, and she's in the fourth one too.
I mean, the fourth one.
She's in Batman and Robin.
I almost consider that.
I see what you mean. She's not in Returns. I got you.
Yeah, she's in Batman and Robin.
No, you're right. This is a reboot. I mean, it's not really a reboot, but it sure plays like one.
Well, it's I don't know. I don't know if I put reboot. I don't know. It's almost a DC 52 kind of reboot where stuff happened, but this is start from here.
They certainly keep too many of the same actors in the movie to really think of it completely like a reboot. And I think that the little flashback that we get to his parents' death is right out of '89. I don't think they reshot it.
Yeah. No. They did reshoot it.
Oh, did they reshoot it?
Yeah. That was
okay.
That was a different actor, but they made him up to look. Well, you'll see. You notice right here the Flying Graysons has a brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always thought that. There was a subtle difference.
Yeah.
And I
do something with it.
I think what they were suggesting was because Chris O'Donnell is way too old to be kind of considered Val Kilmer's son.
Oh yeah, sure.
I think what they were suggesting with this is that Bruce Wayne doesn't become his father figure; he becomes sort of an older brother figure.
Yeah, and if they wanted this to all happen at once and they didn't want to, have it span any kind of time, they kind of had to do it that way.
Yeah.
I honestly don't have a huge problem with that. I know that some people, when it came out, were kind of disappointed with that, because traditionally, isn't Dick Grayson his ward for kind of a while before he becomes Robin?
Oh, that depends.
It does depend.
I think probably maybe a year or something like that. He was
He's
12.
but he's usually like an 11 or 12-year-old Robin when he starts, too, come to think of it, so...
True.
And they wouldn't have done that in this. Although, I think it would be really cool to see that. You know what I mean? Neat. I mean, to actually see the serious 11, 12-year-old Robin. Because, you know, it worked with Hit Girl.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying that we've seen the kid superhero in a serious movie. It works.
No, keep in mind, that happened after, you know, this, so...
No, I know that. I'm just saying that just looking beyond, I think it could still be done.
Yeah.
If you want.
You know, this sequence is really well done, by the way. I mean, I love the fact that he's getting up and going, you know what, you got me, I'm going to have to yell on Batman. And everyone's screaming. It's like, oh no.
That is pretty cool.
That didn't work.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, it's proactive. It's self-sacrifice. This definitely seems to be a Batman that cares more than the Keaton Batman.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I mean, the Keaton Batman is so stoic. Like, I'm not sure I would have bought that from that version.
Mm-hmm. And I like the fact that the Graysons, like, they kind of went out as heroes, doing their best to, you know, get rid of the bomb.
Yeah, you're right. That's cool too. There are actually changes in this scene that are good.
And yeah, I mean, I just you know, for the most part, I did like, you know, people make fun of Chris O'Donnell, but, you know, mainly because, you know, his performance in Batman and Robin, really, I think he was, fairly good enough in this one. I do prefer him over John Blake, I'll tell you that.
I'm not going to say that myself, but...
I will take Chris O'Donnell, Dick Grayson, over John Blake any day. And first off, they got the name right.
Well, I think they were doing something very different than that.
Well, that's the thing. You know, that's the thing that used to frustrate me, was like, oh, well, mainstream audiences won't get Dick Grayson. Like, what are you talking about? They already got Dick Grayson, like, in the 60s and in 95. I mean, even if the audience just only knows Robin and doesn't know who Dick Grayson is, well, your job as a movie is to introduce people to Dick Grayson.
Well, but I go even further. I sort of like that they renamed him and still made him kind of a subtle sort of Robin, and all I would have liked changed would have just been the Robin name drop at the end.
No.
That's just
You're never going to convince me on any point that is not terrible.
No, I don't like that either. I'm just saying that, like, that's the change I would have liked made. I didn't even need his name to be different, because I felt like it was kind of just subtly, he's kind of Robin, and if you get it, you get it, and if you don't, I don't see why you need to.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
And I love the way this transition works, where Bruce Wayne, you know, comes up to their bodies and looks up and sees him.
Yeah.
And sees himself in Dick.
Yeah, you're right. That's great.
I mean, that was well done. I mean, I can definitely see, that how frustrating this film can be, because I mean, when it gets right, it gets really well.
Yeah, that's what's so frustrating about it.
And when it gets wrong, it's so annoying.
Well, and it gets kind of uneven in tone.
Yeah, it's almost like Superman 2 in a weird way, where you know, they had two different directors on that, so yeah. The tone is really super cool, awesome, and then, you know,
plastic ass,
spoopy sheriffs and stuff like that. And it's like, well, wait. I like
it. Glows like a red Kryptonian sun.
Oh, I also like the way Wayne Manor is shot in these sequences, by the way.
I like the set inside. Well, I'm sure it's not a set. I'm sure they went someplace and shot that. I think they're in England in some of these scenes.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think it looks great. Clearly it's a different place than what they shot in 89.
Yeah, but it's enough to, like, get away with it. Because, you know, Burton used a lot of light and shadow.
Yeah.
To suggest scenes. You know, there are a lot of... In some scenes, you know, the lights were always off in Wayne Manor. So, you know, this we get to see it during the day, so it's lit up a little bit. So, you know, even if they use completely different sets and and a house. You know, it's really not that noticeable. I love the line about Metropolis, by the way. That instantly makes this a bigger universe.
Yeah. I think that they did a better job with having him have a reason to be called Robin than they did with, Riddler being Riddler.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot more established. You know, every time...
and believable. I mean, I can kind of buy that. Okay, he's got this, this whole Redbird thing going on, so he comes up with Robin, and that came from his parents. I think that's all kind of nice. Like, it's organic in a way that the whole Riddler thing, you're just like, where did he get those? It doesn't make any sense that he's that obsessed with this stuff, just for no good reason. I mean, okay, so maybe he's into doing crossword puzzles and messing with people's minds and things like that, but that doesn't really play in his plans at all.
Mm-hmm.
Except for just a loose thematic thing.
Although,
I also think that I'm sorry, you were talking about pacing earlier. I think Schumacher's actually doing a decent job of getting us to a place where these two can work together and be friends without it, being such a quick, snap your fingers and it's done kind of thing. I mean, I like that he resists being there at first, but he's not real whiny.
Yeah, he isn't in this film.
I mean, you understand why he'd kind of want to be alone right now.
That's you're right. That's one of the things that I think he does well in this film is the pacing. Most everything seems to come together well. I mean, we'll get to the point where he goes, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to stop being Batman."
You're right, and that's kind of like Richie.
That comes out a little out of nowhere. That may be having something to do with the fact that there are scenes cut in this film. Maybe that would have made a little more sense. Oh wait, here we go. Here we go to that. This is new shot stuff.
No, you're right. You're right. It is different. Yeah, that's a different actor. You're totally right.
It's different actors, but it looks enough like it. And I love the shot of Napier in just a second.
Yeah, that's reshot.
Yeah. When that happened, but it's great positioning. And I remember being in the theater when that image.
And that's a comic book cover.
Yeah, that is Frank Miller.
That's cool. Well, and you know the story about how Schumacher wanted to just adapt Year One originally.
Yeah, he fought for that.
And that's why I think that fans are a little too hard on him, because I really think that the direction that he went was mandated.
Yeah, and you know how much I hate Batman and Robin, but I've gotten to this point where I am totally, cool with him. Like, I would even be okay with him doing another Batman movie.
I would be too. Let me ask you this question. If somebody, and again, we don't want to talk too much about that movie, but even here, if somebody threw enough money at you and asked you to do a Batman movie, but not the way you wanted to, would you do it?
That's a good question. That's a great question.
Because I really think that that's what happened there.
Well, the temptation to do it, like, especially if it's Batman, it's like, yeah, I want to do Batman, but not a good way? It would be a hard temptation. Of course, there's a lot of money involved.
Dollar signs, I don't know that you wouldn't do it.
Well, it's difficult. I mean, look at Schumacher with Batman and Robin, and to a certain extent, Sam Raimi with Spider-Man 3. That wasn't the film he wanted to make either.
No, it wasn't, although that was a little bit different because some of the problems with that movie came from some of his decisions.
Yeah, I mean...
Some of them did.
There
was talk about making that 2 movies, and even if it wasn't what he wanted to do, had they split that up, it would have been a better movie.
Yeah, and then
they threw too much stuff in it.
I guess it's that case where it's like, it's really hard to turn down.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess you see that.
That's why I can't hate him for it. You can't just blame the director. I mean, I don't know why we weren't screaming at Warner's executives harder than we were with that movie. Because I mean, you see people in comments just over and over and over again in different videos talking about Batman and Robin, just like blasting Schumacher, and I'm like, he's one guy, and he's not the only person that worked on it.
Yeah, I do think he deserves half the blame, but sure. I've kind of forgiven him.
But I could, especially because he's made other movies, and he's made good movies.
He made good movies before. I mean, I love Lost Boys. And
I
decent cap.
didn't hate number 23. It's not great, but mostly because it has third accent.
Yeah.
I think good performances in that movie.
Let's see. He also made The Incredible Shrinking Woman.
Oh yeah, okay.
With Lily Tomlin.
Saw that.
And I think he wrote The Wiz.
Oh, all right.
But I really like Lost Boys. And yeah, this stuff right here with Halford.
I think Broken Wings Mend in Time is a great line.
Isn't that a great line? You know, throughout all four of these movies, it's Michael
Goff.
He's great as.
I'm really glad he didn't get recast.
Yeah, me too.
Because I think he is the glue that holds this together in a lot of ways.
Yeah, Tim Burton continued to work with him on and off. He was occasionally appearing in several of his films.
Oh yeah, you're right about that.
Yeah, he appeared in Sleepy Hollow.
I was going to ask. That was the one I was thinking of.
Yeah, and there's a couple other things too. And
oh hey, look, it's the scene that Green Goblin ripped off.
Yeah, no. Oh no.
He's got to act like he's an old woman and then take off his thing and start shooting things and cause fires.
Yeah. I regret nothing!
He blew up his own henchman's car, but doesn't care because he's evil.
Yeah. Why would you work for this guy then?
Yeah, I know.
Money can't be that sweet.
I wonder that a lot about supervillains. Why are these guys working for him?
Like, if you could kill me at any second, then, I don't know, that's a bad boss.
Talking about uneven tone, I think this is the prime example. This scene following that emotionally tender scene we just witnessed.
Yeah, that's right.
He's a cartoon character.
Yeah, I mean, and not like
we just had
Batman animated cartoon character.
We just saw scenes with emotional weight. This guy's a cartoon character. Well, again, I always make a distinction between cartoon and animated series.
Yeah. But,
do you like this version of the Batmobile?
I do. I think it's beautiful, actually. I had a toy of it. And
yeah, I think
hold on. I think it looks amazing, but the only problem with it is it's very obvious it can only go 5 miles an hour. I mean, it's not fast.
Okay, the 89 car looked like it had weight to it. It looked like it was really heavy. This thing, not only does it look a lot lighter than that, but it actually bounces up and down when it drives down the street.
It does, yeah. There's a scene later with Dick Grayson driving it. It does bounce.
And it's even worse in Batman and Robin.
Well, the problem that car was just a piece of garbage.
Yeah.
But
you're right. I like the design of this. I just wish it looked like it had more weight to it. I mean, it looks plastic.
Well, actually, one of my biggest problems design-wise of this car is the pointy ends. It's like, how does he go up against any bump? I mean,
that's a good point.
Yeah, he's going up this wall right now. It's like, what happens when he gets up there? Well, we never see because there's no way that car could have done anything.
Is it silly to you that his car can rappel up buildings?
I don't know. Nolan did it.
I don't know, but it was a little more badass there for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, well, Nolan had a car made that you could see doing stuff like that. So I mean, that car doesn't look like it can even go over a very steep hill without scraping.
Yeah, I think he should have gone with Captain Kill as his name.
Yeah, I know. Question mark man.
Don't you think that if this movie had been Two-Face and Captain Kill, it would have sold just as well?
Oh yeah, Captain Kill forever.
And then when they shine his symbol up in the sky, it's the Captain Kill symbol.
Yeah, that would have been fantastic. Well, that would have been very 90s. It would have been very extreme.
It's also really goofy that he doesn't choose his costume. He doesn't choose his name because he thinks it's a good name. He chooses it because the stupid Riddler thing actually wants it somehow.
Yeah, I know.
It's like no, yes. I'm like, really? Is it magical or is this just a coincidence? I'm assuming it's a coincidence. And why is Drew Barrymore in this movie?
Yeah, I keep forgetting she's in this movie. And, she's like a big star, and she's got like a small bit part in this movie. And Debbie Mazar, who was kind of sort of a thing in the 90s, but never really took off. And I always found it weird that Harvey had like girlfriend sidekicks like this. I don't know. I don't know. It always struck me as odd.
Well, you know why, right?
Oh, well, yeah, because the '60s villains.
No, that's not what I was gonna say.
Oh, what?
It's the other thing. It's another thing that just makes him a lame version of the Jack Nicholson Joker.
Yeah. Oh, and here's
he had them too.
Here's a point of pacing that I think isn't so good.
Oh, wait! I love this though.
Whereas
that's so cool. Yeah, because this is where he's channeling Gorshin the most.
Yeah, and his entrance is ruined almost immediately right here.
Yeah,
where he's grabbed. We aren't given a second to let that sink in.
By the way, it was Jim Carrey's idea to do all of this twirling with the cane, and I'm really glad that he got it in there. And apparently he just worked on that for hours and hours and hours. And wasn't even asked to do it. He just came up with it. He was like, yeah, I should be twirling this cane around.
Yeah. Oh, I could tell. I mean, this is Jim Carrey, like, at the beginning of him exploding.
Actually, kind of the middle, because, I mean, like, this is right after The Mask, so he was in his big heyday right now.
Although, I'm not sure if Mask had even come out yet when they were making this.
That was 94.
Yeah. I mean, the studio almost took a chance with this guy. Because,
yeah. Oh, no. I'm sorry, you're right. Mask hadn't come out when they started working on this. You're right about that.
Yeah, I mean, what if Mask had come out and he was universally hated?
Oh, yeah.
What if it was like Yahoo Serious and Young Einstein, like, this guy is like pitched at us like, hey, the next big thing, and America just turned it down. Like, whoa, for that.
But they ended up being right about it because I think he sold as many tickets as Batman did.
Yeah, it paid off. You know what was funny? I don't know if you remember Dennis Miller's syndicated talk show, but he had Stan Lee on, and this was like in 90, 91 or something like that. And they were talking about all the Marvel characters, and they were talking about how they're just about getting ready to make the Spider-Man movie. and just at the end, Dennis Miller says, hey, you know what? You really should talk to Jim Carrey about playing Spider-Man. And yeah, he was like saying he loves Spider-Man. He's got a thin, wiry frame. He's a young enough actor to do it. And you should totally talk to him. He said, yeah, I'll consider it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That would have made zero sense. And he wasn't young enough to play that character.
Who knows? I don't know how old Carrey was in 91, but I'm sure he was the same age as, like, Tobey Maguire.
I'm not sure that he was. 'Cause, I mean, like, he was doing minor films in the mid-'80s.
Yeah. And the Duck Factory.
I mean, he certainly couldn't have. I mean, look, he wouldn't have looked any different in '91 than he did right now, and you couldn't see this guy playing a high school kid.
Yeah.
This was only shot 3 years after that.
Man, Two-Face looks really stupid with that thing on his head.
Yeah, he does. But he looks stupid anyway, so it doesn't matter.
He looks even dumber.
Does anybody else feel like a fried egg? Oh, sorry. I like Jim Carrey's one-liners out of context.
Out of context, they're very good.
Like, really, that's what I'm saying. Out of context, a lot of these are fun things to just go around and say randomly. And I was in a big Jim Carrey kick when this came out, and I was a kid. Part of it was because before I hit puberty, I could actually do a perfect Jim Carrey impression. Then my voice changed, and I couldn't do it anymore.
Oh no!
Yeah, it was brutal to my ego. I was a weird kid.
Yeah, when puberty hit, I looked like Tommy Lee Jones there.
Really?
No, I'm just kidding.
That's hilarious. But look at this. He's Gorshin. Look at him.
Yeah, that's Gorshin.
That's Gorshin. Love it. Look at those eyes. Love it.
Don't you wish maybe he had been directed at some point, maybe a little quieter?
Who?
Like Carrey.
Carrey? Yeah, I think so. And I think that he was, honestly, even though I liked how much Gorshin he was doing, he's still too over the top. I mean, I'm with it.
Like, I don't think he's threatening at all in one moment in this film.
Well, but I don't think the Riddler has to be, air quotes, threatening necessarily.
I don't know. Is it... Hey, it's... Oh, okay.
I mean, his intellect...
He can do kung fu stuff.
Yeah. And look, at least Chris O'Donnell has a reason to, look like he can fight bad guy stuff, because there's no reason for Chase Meridian to be able to do that.
Oh, I know.
She's not going to put on a costume. She should have been Batgirl.
It would have been made as much sense as Barbara Pennyworth.
That's all I'm saying. Show me how to punch a guy. I actually think this scene's kind of funny.
Hey, you're not going to punch me, are you? Are you going to punch? Okay.
Ow! I don't know. I think that's funny.
I do like the constant green and red motifs you see all over the city.
Yeah, I mean, some people don't like all of the lighting stuff that Schumacher did in this. I think in the context of the weirdness of this movie, it totally works. I mean, he gets made fun of for neon and all that stuff, but man, it's a style all its own. I mean, I'm kind of cool with it myself. But...
Well, the neon's a bit much, and especially he goes overboard in the next movie. But, I would have been fine with the film looking like this, if the script was just a little bit better and some of the performances were better. And I gotta say, I like the relationship Kilmer and Goff has in this. I think they get along really well, for the fact that, considering that they're just now working together as Batman.
The switch is definitely seamless. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't seem awkward.
I will say that Val Kilmer in this role feels like he's been Batman this whole time.
I know. And you know what? This may be controversial. I think that Michael Keaton was miscast as Batman.
I don't think he was miscast, but I think Val Kilmer is a better Batman.
Yeah, he is a better Batman. Well, I mean, here's the thing. Michael Keaton is miscast, but he does a great job. I mean, it's just there are certain things you can't see Michael Keaton do with the character. Like, he's supposed to be, Bruce Wayne is supposed to be, like, the best-looking man ever.
Michael Keaton doesn't have that. You're absolutely right.
He doesn't. No, I mean, I remember watching an.
Why is there a dog on the box?
Yeah, I know. Well, that dog shows up again in Batman and Robin.
There's a dog, and he's on the box.
Yeah. Haha, where are we? We don't know.
Oh yeah, why are we just out in the black ether? Oh well, no, they could be inside the big giant thing.
Help! We're in another dimension.
But isn't the big giant version of the box that Bruce Wayne walks into later? Isn't it just pitch black in the background? So isn't it possible that that's where they are and they just have?
Yeah, it's obviously where they're supposed to be, but I mean, okay. I don't know.
No, it's dumb, but I'm just.
Yeah. I
think there might be kind of an explanation. But if you'd rather just make fun of it and not question it, that's fine with me too.
And yeah, I like his Lincoln pose here.
Yeah, I always wonder about this chair. I'm like, why does it have a sheet over it? Like, are we fixing the upholstery? What's going on?
Yeah, while he was still having workmen come in and build all that. Although I wonder if any of the workmen asked him about the death traps.
I feel bad for Alfred. He's got to constantly just walk around and hope to God that Dick Grayson doesn't go try to get into the Batcave.
Yeah. Footloose.
I was going to say, this is a really kind of 80s TV action scene, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, you don't see John Blake doing that.
I think it's way too easy to access the Batcave.
It is a little bit, yeah, admittedly.
I really think that the last room that you would have a door that takes that long to close would be the freaking Batcave.
Yeah, you would think...
I mean, the Batcave shouldn't be a regular door anyway, I still prefer to any other version of the entrance to the Batcave. I still love the animated series with the clock.
Well, yeah, and that came out of the comics. Which I think Denny O'Neil created that.
Oh, really?
I feel like it came out of that era.
That's probably how it made its way in the animated series, since he was one of the producers.
Well, yeah, Bruce Timm loved all that stuff, so I mean, yeah.
Well, and Paul Dini was one of the producers on that show.
Yeah. And there were, of course, like, references to the O'Neil days, and they even, like, adapted episodes.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the way the Dark Knight films do it, too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, I mean, yeah, and O'Neil pops up again in the Nolan stuff.
So I've heard that I know this has nothing to do with anything, but I've heard that the keys that you press on the piano in the Dark Knight films to get into the Batcave are supposed to actually be the 60s theme.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna have to watch that again.
No.
I never caught that.
Don't know if that's true or not. I haven't gone back and looked since then, but if that's true, that's kind of cool.
Let's see.
That's a neat idea.
Well, we got this scene with Batman and Chase. Hey, what do you think happened to Chase after this movie? She's not mentioned at all in Batman and Robin.
She went to live with Vicky Vale.
I always had this idea that she got killed.
Forever that after dealing with Batman, they hated men and they got married.
Well, that's a good movie.
That's.
But I always had this feeling. I always actually created this idea, like, she got killed taking a chance on her own or something like that.
Yeah.
And they never mentioned it again because it wasn't fun. But yeah, I mean, she just disappears. I mean, at least with Vicky Vale, there's an explanation. But
yeah.
It just didn't work out.
I think it's really just like frustrating and kind of I don't know what the word is I'm looking for. It's just it's awkward really that she is supposed to be this like really she's supposed to be really good at her job and this fantastic psychiatrist, and she spends all of her time thinking about sex. Like that's all she does.
Yeah.
And it's not believable. It's not realistic. It's really kind of creepy.
Yeah, we only see her in her office once, and she's not even working. She's hitting the punching bag.
She's going after Batman, but it's like in this really weird, sexually frustrated way. I don't know.
It's yeah. I don't know. It's just
I can totally.
She has to be there. Apparently, I don't know. It would have been. It would have been nice if maybe they used another character from the Batman universe, like Silver St. Cloud would have been nice to see in live action.
But this is clearly one of those things where it's a good idea on paper, but they don't do anything with it in execution. Where it's like, okay, we've got a guy with multiple personalities. We've got Batman who has his own crazy mixed up psychology and kind of is maybe almost a multiple personality thing. And so then, of course, he's dating a psychiatrist. That's a great idea.
Yeah. But somebody should have wrote something. Because, I don't know, it's like Carly from the Amazing Spider-Man comics. Like, we're told how awesome she is, but we don't see it.
I don't know if this is going too far, but I would almost say that this representation of her is almost it's the only version. But I would almost say that she's nearly sexist, like almost, because she's so two-dimensional, and it's just I'm just here to want the male character in the movie, and I mean I can see why a female psychologist would be really enamored with Batman. I mean, I get that. I'm totally cool with her having like a wall of Batman stuff on her in her place.
Yeah.
And all of that, but like just the way that she throws herself at him, it's kind of degrading to women a little bit.
It is, because that's her only thing in the movie is, turn on about Batman. She's not really after the Riddler, or Two-Face, excuse me.
She's just there at the right time, in the right place.
She's just trying to hook up with Batman. I mean, that's really her only thing.
And it's also weird because Vicky Vale was there for kind of the same reason. Not to hook up with Batman, but just like, I'm really interested in this Bat character. I want to get pictures of him. Yeah. And then it's like, it's just the psychiatrist version of Vicky Vale. I'm really interested in Batman.
The thing was, her job was to find pictures of Batman. Her job was to investigate Batman. She became enamored of Batman and fell in love with him.
Well, you're right. It was kind of an assignment for her publication, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, she and Robert Wool were supposed to find out who Batman was. Chase is like supposed to be after Two-Face, and she's after Batman.
Yeah.
And, when I heard the writer in a magazine article talking about the character and talking about this character with he likes writing smart characters. This is Ava Goldman talking about how he likes to write smart characters, and he was explaining Chase Meridian, and her fascination with two sides and, the psychology of Batman. I was thinking like, oh man, he's kind of writing almost like a Harley Quinn kind of character, but for Batman or something like that. Yeah. And so I imagined this much more interesting character from what he was describing than what was actually in the film. So I found that disappointing. I probably was the only person disappointed in Chase Meridian when I went to see this film.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Like everyone else is disappointed about Two-Face, and I'm disappointed about... Well, I mean, I was disappointed about that, too. Yeah, let's hit him with our glow sticks!
Well, the thing is, you don't want her to just be a pretty face. I mean, you want to actually care about that character. And
yeah, this looks like a fight at a rave.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I think I'm falling more in toward your direction on this. This is too much neon.
Yeah. Whee! It's fun.
And it's also kind of funny how this movie is going, or how the scene is going out of its way to make sure that no neon lights get on Batman.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually kind of impressive how they managed not to get any color on his costume.
Yeah. This is actually, everybody makes a big deal about the nipples. But if you took the nipples off this costume, this is my favorite of the 90s Batman.
I agree with you. It looks more comic book.
Yeah. It looks more like comic book. It looks like they finally got the 89 costume right.
He doesn't look so uncomfortable in it.
Yeah, it doesn't look as heavy. It looks more flexible. But it still looks like that same design.
I don't know if you'll agree with this. I kind of like all the lines and things going on in the mask.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think it looks
cool. Like, I like how the mask has an expression.
Yeah, which is what I used to like about the Adam West costume, by the way.
That it had eyebrows?
Yeah. I used to love that as a kid. Oh, this is actually one of my favorite scenes, actually, in this movie, is the scene where Bruce and Dick have it out, and they talk about revenge. And, I think you talked about this in your review of it.
Yeah.
And
this is a very good scene.
I really wish more of the movie was like this scene, because he almost sounds like he regrets killing Joker and Penguin from the previous movies. And oh boy, I wish they dealt with that a little bit more.
Yeah, and what's frustrating about it, and I think maybe I mentioned this, is that you can't be 100% sure that this is that this is really supposed to even be part of those movies. So you don't know if he's really thinking about that or not.
Oh, it's supposed to be part. Because I think this was written even before Kilmer came on. So, and Kilmer's so good in the scene. I love the way he's staring him down in this scene. I mean,
but still, it's ambiguous as to whether or not Batman really feels like he killed those characters.
Yeah. I mean,
since they're not brought up. I'm just saying they should have been brought up, maybe.
I almost wish, I would have loved to have seen a Kilmer-Nolan combination.
Oh, yeah, sure. I think those two could have worked together pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, that very human scene is sandwiched between two kind of sillier scenes. It's really irritating. Like really, how do you leave off from that? And by the way, this is also a really bipolar soundtrack too, because you've got that really there's really kind of heart-wrenching chord structures in that scene, and then you get over here and what does it do? It's the jazz. It's like this silly jazz version of the of the theme from these movies, and I'm just like, are you serious?
Yeah. You know what? Here's more neon.
Oh, yep.
But you know what? The lights. Here's the difference between this one and Batman and Robin is I think he balances the dark and all the shadows with the lighting. I think it's just a much better job. Where in Batman and Robin, it seems like neon light and garish light versus other garish light, and it's just like there's no good contrast. And I think this is the only scene where Jim Carrey looks like Jim Carrey.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I know he's trying to look like Val Kilmer here, like, trying to look like his his hero or something like that.
I actually liked that idea. That he looked up to Bruce Wayne and then felt like he was kind of brushed aside.
It was a creepy stalker.
Yeah.
And
he's like the male version of the woman from Misery.
Yeah, or single white female.
Yeah.
The Jennifer Jason Leigh character, because like halfway through that film, she gets her hair cut just like
say this: the
Bridget
police
Fonda.
commissioner would not go into the box.
Yeah.
Or is that supposed to be the police commissioner?
Yeah.
That's not him.
This was the stupidest thing.
Is that just
Bruce
some
does.
other really, really heavyset guy that kind of looks like the... I don't even think that's the commissioner, but I couldn't tell.
No, it's not the commissioner. It's just a fat
guy. Okay. Sorry, that's funny. It's just a fat guy. I love how Bruce just automatically knows exactly what would cause this new technology that nobody's ever come up with before. You know, the only way you could do that is by sending a signal directly into the brain. Really? How do you know that?
Well, Martian Manhunter told him about it.
Why? He must have been hanging out in Metropolis.
Yeah.
Because we know there's a Metropolis.
And then they make a more obvious joke about Metropolis in the next one.
I also feel the need. Oh yeah, I can't believe they actually name drop Superman in that movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that the guy that could just at the snap of his finger go, oh yeah, I know exactly how you're doing this. I'm that intelligent.
Yeah, you know what? In real life,
not be the guy who would go into the box. I mean, I realize that he shuts it off and everything to go look at it, but really, like, okay, so she's there.
Yeah.
So, and she knows that he's with Nigma.
Yeah.
So he gets her to turn it off, and then he goes into it, assuming that they won't return it on. You're an idiot.
I know, it's really bad.
Trust these people. You're stupid.
Boy, that door looks cheap. Oh no!
Oh, I've got another one. I hate that.
Yeah, this is one of the two stupidest things he does in the movie.
Yeah. Why is this plot so extremely cookie cutter and skeletal while we've got some pretty decent, parallels going on between Batman and Robin? Yeah, I know we're beating a dead horse, but it's really frustrating.
It is. And I guess they figured that balance. I guess they figured it was balancing, but I don't know. The stupid stuff is so stupid.
You can't balance that. You can balance drama with comedy. You can't balance smart and stupid.
Yeah, you can't.
Right?
No, you can't. It's
a different movie. If you want to make a stupid Batman movie, that's a different thing.
And here comes Tommy Lee Jones to chew up more of the scenery.
Hey, he has 2 guns, get it?
Yeah. Oh, they really are getting this character right.
See, if they'd given him 3 guns, I would have really cried foul, but they know what they're doing.
Yeah,
and colors, isn't that clever? And look, he's wearing his dress uniform.
Where am I going? Okay, out here.
See, look, he's got a different jacket on. Yeah. He's got his costume on.
Look how good Debbie Mazar is in that scene.
Yeah, she's awesome. She did a really good job looking like herself.
Yeah, standing there.
That she could play the role where they just wanted her because she looked like she looks.
Yeah.
Why do they have neon guitars? Okay, you're right. There is too much neon in this movie. He just drank 2 drinks simultaneously.
He's Two-Face!
My friend is going too far.
Aaron Eckhart, you should be ashamed. You didn't do any of that stuff.
He's got 1 black glove because he thinks he's Michael Jackson.
Yeah, because, that was outdated at that point.
Yeah.
Now, I love the way the shot looks. I love the way he looks coming in here.
Okay, is that the hearing aid guy?
It does seem like it, doesn't he?
Sure looked like him, the guy who was pointing up and going, Batman! And I love how he felt the need to add, ah! Really? This is so silly.
Yeah. I gotta say another thing about the advantage of Schumacher versus Burton is, I think Schumacher also does fight scenes better.
I think you're right.
And let's see, because I mean, the fight scenes in Burton's films are a little too rehearsed looking, and they have a more they have a more energetic quality. I mean,
now that right there was kind of an homage to the Burton films, though.
Yeah.
Having the guy pull out the blades and come at him and then just stop, and the Batman kicks him. That's very Burton.
Was John Goover or Peters, I can't remember, was he still attached to the series at this point?
I don't know the answer to that.
Because Kevin Smith has this hilarious story that the producer of Batman claimed that the film was a success as successful as it was because of the knife guy, because he came up with that.
all right, yeah.
Yeah, it's this long story hey, why don't we have this guy with knives and kung fu come in and fight Batman, and that's the reason why it was such a hit. It's
all right.
Kevin Smith's stories about that guy is just wow, how did that guy even get a job in Hollywood?
I'm going to say though, I think that this movie works when you're. I think this movie works when you're younger, or at least it did when I was 12 or 13 in the mid 90s. Yeah. In a different way than it does when you're an adult, because I didn't see any of this as cheesy, really.
Yeah.
As a kid,
well, you don't. I mean, you're not supposed to as a kid. As a kid, you're supposed to think it's awesome.
I just think this is probably the best of the Batman films as far as marketing toward kids goes. Yeah. I think of all of them, this was the best marketed to kids, and had the best merchandising tie-ins and stuff.
Yeah.
Just because, not that the other movies didn't have great merchandising, of course 89 did, but it's just really, besides Batman and Robin, which just isn't good on any level for that, all of the other Batman movies are too dark for the age that they're aiming them at. All of them.
Yeah.
89, Returns, and then all of the Nolan films.
Yeah.
It's so... And I mean, it's hard to do because he's a dark character, but kids love Batman. So what are you going to do? I mean, I understand the difficulties in that, but really, I think it's really funny looking at some of the merchandising for the Nolan films and how hard they tried making that marketable to kids, even though the movies themselves really shouldn't be viewed until you're a certain age.
Yeah.
And so, they had a storybook for Dark Knight Rises. And it literally is just, Batman goes into the sewers, Batman fights Bane, he wins, the end.
Yeah.
And,
I remember that scene. That was
Eric
great.
called me on the phone and told me he found the storybook. And I went and looked at it later, and I came back to Eric and I said, you realize that the storybook for for Dark Knight Rises could be the same storybook for Amazing Spider-Man?
Yeah, it's basically 2 pages.
He goes into the sewer, he fights the bad guy, the end.
Haha, I'm a pirate! Woohoo!
Do you like that they made that they made the original Robin suit like that? For their costumes for being trapeze artists? I think it's great.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, you just mentioned Nightwing.
Yeah, what do you think of that?
That was awesome. I love that. By the way, the caption, I'm watching this with the subtitle captions.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. It misspells that.
It misspelled Nightwing?
Yeah,
I wasn't looking at it.
It spelled it as night, with a K, and then separate wing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's just all kinds of wrong.
Yep. I love that moment. I can stop you. It's
Maybe
yeah.
He just decided how he would spell it yet.
But, yeah, all the stuff with Bruce, Dick, and Alfred works. I mean, all these scenes are good.
They have a lot of chemistry together, the 3 of them.
Yeah.
I buy them forming a Bat family.
Yeah.
And that couldn't have been an easy task. I mean, you have got to give this director some credit for that.
Look at Jace Brady. She's brushing her hair in slow-mo. I mean, look at that. Yeah, that's a psychiatrist. Anyway, what were you saying?
Oh, I don't remember. I was mesmerized by the slow motion. Not because I was just, like, deeply enamored with her, but just because I couldn't believe they did it.
Yep.
I'm not sure I've ever noticed that before. You're right. I mean, like, all these shots of hers look like they should come out of magazines.
Yeah. There's not one shot of her in this movie where she looks like a person.
Yeah, and half of them look almost like pinups, dude.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, she even sleeps sexy.
I mean, imagine being her and being in this and being like, wait, am I in a Batman film or am I like in a photo shoot for Maxim? Like, what am I doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Hi, Batman. Hi, I'm Batman.
And
this rising music and stuff. I mean, like, all of a sudden you feel like you're in an episode of Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, I know. This is where the Dark Knight rises, right here.
Oh God, man.
But I don't know. This scene is so clunky.
Yeah, they pulled all this dialogue. They looked in the future and they looked at the Star Wars prequels, and then.
No. Let's be fair. It's highly superior to Lucas's romantic writing.
Okay, yeah, that's true. But really, when she's like, your lips, your body, I'm just like.
I mean, this is Roman Holiday compared to George Lucas's work. Hey, we should commentary Roman Holiday. What do you think? Let's get 0 views.
Okay. Yeah, we should work on that, Manos. We should see if we can come up with a video that will get 0 views. Just like by what it is.
Let's see.
Okay. Does this bother you? The Batman smile?
Yeah, it does.
You just don't want to see him do that in that suit.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks creepy.
Yeah.
Hey, I love his headshot that's in the newspaper.
I like how he has these two guys thinking.
Well, it's about time someone in the movie does that.
You know what that does, Manos? That powers his machine and creates the Ninja Turtles.
Woo! Right.
Sometimes I wonder if the Riddler is confused. Like, he's like, am I in Batman or am I in one of those like early 90s like Nickelodeon game shows for kids?
It does have that look to it. I mean, if the set was a little bit brighter
and had more slime on people.
Yeah, and parents like off to the side.
Like the Riddler host double there.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be great.
So I agree with you. This decision to suddenly not be Batman anymore happens way too fast. I really don't see just, okay, Chase Meridian says, I found some other guy.
Yeah.
And then he even has one date with her.
Yeah. He's known her for 10 minutes. And he's going to turn everything off and stop looking for the 2 guys who are out.
Yeah, the problem is that he's still got a responsibility to fight these villains, and you go to imagine for a moment if they'd done that in Dark Knight.
Oh man,
he had that. If Bruce had that conversation with Rachel where he says, "Were you serious when you said that we could be together if Gotham didn't need Batman?" And then she said yes, and then he was like, "Okay," and then he just like put the cowl away and let Joker keep murdering people.
Yeah, and you know what? Even in that ridiculous example, that would have even still been because it was established they'd known each other like all their lives.
Yeah, at least he could be positive it might sort of kind of, well, not positive, but at least he'd have a sense that it might work out.
Yeah.
I mean, this girl, Bruce and her have had no time together. She spent more screen time with him in the Batsuit than out of it.
Yes. And,
that's actually really funny. The Gotham City cab has, like, the cityscape and its lights.
Yeah, it does look nice.
That's cool.
And suddenly it's Halloween.
Yeah.
Well,
it's looked cold, though. So, I mean,
yeah, it does look like that time of year. Oh, this scenery is nice.
That's cool. All those Batsuits in the background.
Yeah.
And I'm sure one of those is actually the 89 suit, so they are trying to tie things together.
I hope so. And
Oh,
you were asking me about the decision to have his costume look like his circus
yeah, I'm
costume.
sorry. I thought maybe you didn't want to talk about it because you kind of ran past it.
Okay, I'm sorry, I forgot about that.
So, okay, go ahead.
That's kind of been done in the comics too, I think. And
Prior to this?
I've seen that happen before. Like, artists do that before, and I don't know if that's a good idea. I mean, it does make sense. Like, oh yeah, naturally he would like want to incorporate that in his crime fighting outfit, but wouldn't that like trigger some people to like suspicion?
Yeah, or you'd at least be afraid that maybe it would.
Yeah, especially since he is obviously older, so he doesn't look any different.
What I like about it here is that he only goes out in it like the one time, and then he actually gets a batsuit.
Yeah. His batsuit makes more sense in this one versus like Barbara Pennyworth's.
Do you like his batsuit in this?
Wait, whose batsuit? Val Kilmer's?
Robin's batsuit.
Oh, Robin's.
I guess I'm calling it a batsuit because it's made of the same stuff. I mean, it's a Robin batsuit.
It's his Robin suit. His Robin suit looked pretty good, I thought. It incorporated a lot of the Tim Drake Robin costume.
Yeah, the only thing I don't like about it, and maybe this is weird. It's just I kind of don't like that it looks like the batsuit. Like it's weird to me that it's still rubber.
Yeah, well, yeah, you just got to get used to the rubber and the leather.
But I just think on a suit that doesn't have a mask, it doesn't make as much sense just looking at it.
Wow, how long of a trick or treat trek has that been for those kids? Like, what's the next house? Like,
that's a really good point.
20 miles is the next house?
It'd be fine if somebody drove them up. But yeah, they're just walking around. It's like, because there aren't two psychopaths out on the loose or anything.
Yeah.
Not that they've been murdering anyone, but.
Well, yeah. At least these aren't kid killers.
Yeah, they're not kid killers. They have been murdering people, I guess. I guess there's been some gunfire, but.
Yeah, but it's like
stealing stuff.
Oh, okay, we're at Donald Trump's house, now to Bruce Wayne's house, 3 hours away. Let's get walking.
Yeah, we only go find millionaires and billionaires. We only hit 2 houses on a night, but it's profitable.
Man, how cheap would it be if Alfred just dropped one piece of candy in there?
Yeah, I know. It's like, wait a minute, you guys are really rich. Don't you have more than that? He's like, well, honestly, I didn't expect anybody would show up, because the next house is 30 miles away. I mean, really, in a lot of continuities, Wayne Manor is outside of Gotham City, even.
Yeah.
So you're kind of like, really, there's trick-or-treaters on foot? Would they swim there?
Oh, I know. Those poor trick-or-treaters have been trick-or-treating since the Crow. Now, they finally walked over to the Bruce Wayne's house. But, this stuff is great. I remember looking at this scene and thinking, oh, that's right out of Frank Miller. Even though it, happens at a different time, but it made a lot of sense that this would happen, in this way. I thought the way he would just get upset, blame himself, and that's when he discovered the cave, and the bat.
The only thing I really hate is that this is all building toward a reveal from the past that's not put in the movie.
I know.
And that's so irritating. For those of you that don't know what we're talking about, if I'm recalling this right, and it's been a while, but I think that the idea was that he actually reads in his father's journal. They don't even really tell you what it is. If I'm remembering right, without that scene, the red book is his father's journal, and he opens it up and he reads a part of it that says that we were going to stay in tonight, but Bruce really wanted to go see this movie.
Yeah, that's right. It did not make it in theatrical cut.
And that's the reason that he feels so responsible for his parents' death. And I feel like that's not only an important scene, I think it's kind of the scene.
Yeah.
And I can't believe, really, all of this background stuff is leading up to that, and they cut it out. I've never seen that, Manos.
I know.
I've never seen, like all this lead-up stuff. That's the payoff for all of that, and they leave it out.
Mm-hmm. They could have cut that stupid driving up the wall scene. And the movie would not, people wouldn't have missed it. Like, oh no, we didn't see a stupid scene driving up the wall.
We're assuming they cut that for time, and I doubt that's what it was.
Yeah, well, I'm guessing it was for tone. I know they were really worried about tone, when they were making this film. It's funny, because they were so worried about how dark Batman Returns was. And, how dark. I mean, that looks like almost... Batman Returns now looks like this movie compared to the Nolan movies.
Yeah.
As far as tone. I mean, Batman Returns is, a Tim Burton movie, which has a lot of humor in it, and it's silly in places. And, yeah, there's some dark humor. There's some gothic kind of humor.
But I think there's...
But it's not, it's not as dark as it would eventually go. And that was when they were making this movie. They were so worried about losing McDonald's. They were worried about losing those action figure sales.
But even the Nolan films don't have something like Penguin biting off a guy's nose.
Yeah.
I just think that there's a couple key scenes in, key moments in Returns that really bothered parents.
Oh, I do. Yeah. It's a couple of lines from Penguin, and the biting in the nose thing really bothers people.
Especially and as far as lines go, like the first time that he walks in and talks to Catwoman.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about.
Like sexual lines, yeah.
Yeah, and but I mean that's why even in the Nolan films have a very, very dark edge to them. But there are certain scenes where you don't even see it like on camera, like Joker slitting the mob boss's.
But it's the ideas that are dark, and if you're not old enough, you won't understand that anyway.
Yeah.
So it's more okay.
Yeah, I guess he did something. Is what the kids would think.
And realize the implications of what's being talked about. I love that face.
Yeah, and of course, this is also part of the transition. Right here is Riddler blowing up. Batcave. So in the next movie, the Batcave's going to look a little different. And maybe that would have been a little more meaningful if the 89 Batmobile was here and got blown up.
It would have been more meaningful if we didn't already get an entirely different looking Batcave. You're right.
Yeah.
And of course, the word different there when you go into Batman and Robin is actually synonymous with the word overblown.
Mm-hmm.
Because I actually like what the Batcave looks like in this movie.
Yeah, it looks good. It looks like a good combination between the Schumacher concepts and the Burton concepts. It's a nice, good marriage.
And I don't think it's too, overblown.
Yeah.
Aw, he blew up the car. That's kind of sad.
Yeah.
He just said joygasm, Manos.
Yeah, so, hey, what were we just saying about the Penguin?
Yeah. Never mind. Okay, so this is something that I totally complained about in my review. Two-Face totally makes the whole point of what he is meaningless by just flipping a coin until he gets the outcome he wants.
Yeah. That's why they don't understand his character.
Yeah, if you just go, oh, I want to kill a person, but I have to flip the coin first, and I have to go based on that because I can't actually make decisions. That's one thing. But if it's just, I really want to kill him, then just go kill him.
You're right. I don't know why we're laughing. So do all these henchmen know Bruce Wayne is Batman?
Well, they could have been told.
I don't know. That's always something I've always kind of wondered about. Like, do the henchmen know? Or do they just like, oh, no, we're going to hit Bruce Wayne tonight?
Because if the henchmen know, that's a whole lot of henchmen.
Yeah, and they have girlfriends or people they know.
And have all gotten taken in at the end.
Yeah.
Previously on Lost. Sorry, I made that gag when I reviewed this, but... and actually, if I had remembered I had made that gag, I wouldn't have just said that. I really forgot. I was like, wait a minute, I've done that somewhere.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's right. But yeah, you know what happens at the end of this, right, Manos? All the henchmen get taken in, and they're all put on trial in a RICO case.
There's been another riddle. Da-da-da, the giant juicer!
There's a riddle because we need him to have riddles in this movie.
Yeah, look, she's even taken hostage in a sexy, glamorous way.
Yeah, of course she is. I want that coat, Manos.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I want the flashing Riddler coat so that I can walk around and be like the jacket? It keeps me safe when I'm jogging at night.
Yeah. You can only walk 2 feet because of the cord.
That's hilarious. You know, my problem with this set is that it looks like a game show.
It does. Well, it does look like a game show.
But I guess that's okay because then he starts. It's kind of thing that then he starts making game show dialogue. So I guess it's okay.
Yeah, he probably walked on that set and thought that, like, wow, this looks like a game show. I'm gonna make my game show jokes. Oh. And of course,
who's making this giant question mark? And of course, only our really brilliant commissioner would come up with the Riddler.
Yeah. And you know what? Why are they trying to figure it out? Don't they know about that giant juicer off the coast?
I guess they haven't turned the news.
They couldn't see that big, giant, green smoothie machine that's out there?
It makes kryptonite diet shakes.
Yeah. That's why Superman can't help.
Yeah, he can't help. And that's why everybody within like an 8-mile radius is getting superpowers right now.
Mm-hmm. Blah, 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 blah.
But only assuming it's Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. Now, this is a little 60s Batman, isn't it?
A little bit.
Mr. E. Oh, how about Mr. Oh, Mystery. And what's another name for Mystery? Oh, Enigma. The only possible answer.
You know, it's funny. Every time I watch this, I forget he doesn't know that's him.
And that's really silly, because I'm sorry.
He's face to face with him. He got a haircut.
He just put an orange wig on.
Well, I mean, he met him, like, at the party.
And they're both super eccentric.
Yeah, boy, he's really smart. You know, all he did was get a haircut, and he couldn't recognize him. Well, there's the famous bat butt.
Yeah. I'm sure I'm sure the conceit is supposed to be, you know, the comic book thing of if you put a little face mask on, nobody can tell who you are, but...
I love the way the Batplane is hanging.
That's pretty cool. It's upside down. And
Yeah.
And now we can argue about whether or not it's trying to sleep.
It's not. It's a machine.
Oh. That's an inside joke from me and Ben.
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you about that later.
Robin stand for?
Stands for Rochester. That Batsuit.
Oh, Rochester. Would you get the Batmobile?
The problem I have with this Batsuit is just that it's getting too close to what they looked like in Batman and Robin. I mean, now he looks like an action figure.
Yeah, he does. And there's a reason he has the suit, right? It's supposed to be like anti-electronic kind of suit or something like that, right?
We talked over it, and I wasn't reading the text, so I forget exactly what he said. It was something sonar or something.
Yeah, because I know the suit he uses at the end of Batman and Robin is some kind of anti-freeze suit. Although I don't know why he didn't wear it like throughout.
He just got those lying around.
Yeah.
Whee! I think if he had a fire suit, just in case he went up against a fire guy.
You know, this looks cool, but like, man, he has to do this every time he takes the plane out. Like, he nearly gets killed every time.
And it takes forever.
I mean, it's like he's going through the Death Star in Return of the Jedi.
How many times did he have to practice that before he got it right? Wait a minute. Oh no. We might actually
something?
This.
Why are we excited?
That's what the commissioner does. He doesn't send out police or anything. He just waits around for Batman. Yay! I'm gonna shake your hand because we have Batman.
I love also how he was able to see him give the thumbs up.
I don't have to do my job. Oh, that's a good point.
Like, hey, saw you fly by at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Like,
he's literally gonna just spend the rest of his night celebrating, having some cake. Not even knowing if Batman will survive and sending no backup of any kind.
This scene right here is better than the entire movie of Battleship.
I love that they have little bat planes and things. How did they get those? Why did they have this set up? Did they know this was going to happen?
Yeah.
You know, all of this is getting really absurd really fast.
Oh, yeah, it is.
It's also really fun. I mean, like, I enjoy all of this, but not on any kind of, like, story level.
Oh, yeah. Thanks. I'm glad I let you borrow my $8 billion boat. Blow it up.
You sunk my battleship. I do think it's kind of fun that they're playing Battleship.
Yep. See, they could have saved all those millions of dollars.
This is all really cheap, all these scenes. They did it with the helicopter at the beginning, too, that I mentioned. The scenes where they just have some, like, flashing lights outside in a dark background so they don't have to actually put any scenery out there.
Yeah.
That's irritating.
Well, I mean, it's also filmmaking, too. I mean, you know, to create, like, boy, I can't believe I'm going to use this comparison, but, you know, a lot of scenes in Citizen Kane, were shot to look like they were in bigger rooms and stuff like that, where basically, you know, in some scenes it was just a table and a chair and some lighting.
Yeah, but that's different. This is a big summer action blockbuster.
Well, you know, Kane was a big film.
I can't no, but this is a blockbuster. These action scenes are the bread and butter of these kinds of movies, and I shouldn't be able to look at it and go, that looks like a soundstage. I don't know. It jumps out at me like a lot of other things haven't in this movie, so I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, Annette!
We talked over it, but I do have to mention something I think is really silly. When he fires that big beam of green energy at the Batwing, what is that?
I guess it's a laser?
Is it brainwaves?
Did he shoot him with thought?
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
I don't get it. The game begins.
Have you ever thought about Carrey as Joker?
Yeah, well, he kind of looks like it there.
Yeah, I remember thinking about that when he did
Joker.
this film.
Okay, we did not need Holy Rusted Metal Batman.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know. I think that if you're gonna do that, I don't know. It's lame.
Yeah. If you're gonna do it, just do it. But
I mean, they could have done. I mean, first off, it's one of those where like there's so much loud noise going on. I remember barely registering it when I first saw that. Like, oh, did he say what? Oh, did he say a word thing? Oh, he did. Okay.
Extremely contrived way to make that line happen too. I can't imagine anybody actually saying that.
Yeah, not in this world.
Hey, it's Holy Rusted Metal, Batman.
Yeah, that's totally something someone would say.
Because the problem is that there are like 50 different other possible combinations of those words that he could have said. You know what I mean? Like, even if he was going to say Holy Rusted Metal, he could have said Batman first.
Yeah. You know, if he had had time, because, you know, time is of the essence in this case, but, you know, a good strategy in the future would be to see if you could find the people who built this thing that, because, you know, with his money from the brainwave thing, he had to hire construction guys to build all this stuff.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, it would have been a good idea to maybe find somebody who built it.
Yeah, but Manos, that would have taken, like, kind of detective work or something.
No, what?
Yeah, we can't have that in a Batman film.
No way.
Hey, Batman, come on down.
Relax, don't do it.
I just love that he has to climb question marks.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, where's your bat shark repellent? There might be sharks down there. There probably aren't.
That lighting is great.
Oh, so now you make with the lawyer talk. Okay.
Yeah, see, I don't know. When he brings it up, it just comes so, like...
It's shallow.
It's shallow, yes. I mean, like, if, you know,
Shallow.
You know, when it happens in, like, well, actually, everything he says in the Nolan film in Dark Knight, you know, you feel it because you've been there with him and you have a sense of that character. But we didn't see Harvey and, you know, if, I really wish he'd been in, like, Returns.
Yeah.
Or maybe had more of a part in 89, because he basically has barely anything to do in 89. I mean,
no, he's just there trying to, the mayor make the festival happen.
Yeah. And in Bruce Timm's animated series, I mean, he has a couple of episodes.
It's a two-parter to make him.
No, even before that. There's that episode where Poison Ivy tries to kill him.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I mean, if you're watching that for the first time, it's like he's just another supporting character.
That's right. I forgot all about that.
And he appears like 2 or 3 times before he actually gets his two-parter.
Look at this set. I just love the idea of a villain building all of this just in case he manages to get to like a final climax with his superhero.
Yeah, what if that didn't happen? How much money he just wasted?
Well, then he could just start his own game show, then televise it. I mean, this is a pretty smart guy who just finds ways to capitalize on all of his crazy inventions. He would just get on like Fox or NBC and get a game show, right?
Yep.
That's what I'd do.
Haha, yeah.
Haha, I think everything's funny because I'm evil. Being evil makes things funnier. You know, man, being evil is a lot like being drunk or it being perpetually 2 a.m.
Yeah.
That's what being evil is like. Like, really, he took the time to change his clothes between talking to...
And do his hair. Do his hair, too.
Tied up, Chase Meridian, and now.
Yeah, he had to do the hair, too. You know, spray paint it and tease it.
This always bothered me, this, like, growling bit. I'm like, okay, so... Are you, like... Do you have superpowers now because of all these fought things? Or do you have, like, a... Are you wearing a lapel mic that I can't see? Like...
Yeah, they bring up a couple of times, like, how he's been drained. Is he supposed to be, in his mind, getting more powerful with all these brainwaves he's been sucking up, or?
I remember even when I was a kid watching this thinking, wouldn't it be cool if he was perpetually getting actually smarter, and you could tell it, like, in his dialogue and stuff like that? And wouldn't it have been cool if, like, people were left as, like, mindless vegetables?
Yeah,
because
that would have been neat, too.
He's talking about how he's draining people's brains, but when people use his machine, they're just normal still.
Yeah,
so
and then when they turn it off, they seem okay again.
It's this really, like, surface kind of social commentary about TV, but there's not really anything to it, because nobody actually gets their brains drained.
Yeah. Let's see.
Boy, I gotta say, I have been kind of brutal to this movie, and I'm surprised.
Haha. Anyway,
when we
I
thought I was going to be way nicer to this movie than you.
I love that mask Riddler has, by the way. The way the question marks incorporated into it.
I actually don't like that at all, but that's so goofy looking. Well, because it looks like it's just like tacked onto it.
Yeah.
Like it's not even part of the mask. It's like on. It's like
well, the dot. Yeah, the dot. Oh, thanks, Debbie Mazur.
No, not just the dot. Like, look at it. It's not even part of the mask. It's like
I know. It's separate.
It's stupid.
Yeah.
Sadistic choice. By the way, this movie and Spider-Man are the same movie.
Yeah.
Not really, but that's not fair. I'm gonna get in trouble for that. But there are a few places where it sure feels like it.
Quick, let me put you on the spot. Is this better than the first Spider-Man, or Spider-Man?
No, it's not.
Okay, good. This is better. I mean, Spider-Man is better than this.
Because at least tonally, that movie is more even.
Yes.
No, it's not. No, it's not even kind of a better film.
So that's a big batarang.
Yeah, that's a really big batarang.
Yeah, because when he destroys that thing, he gets all, like, deformed. And
his face gets all wonky.
And, he loses his memories, so...
He's supernatural. So, yeah, it's like there's this whole bit missing where, like, maybe they thought of that and abandoned it, but then it's sort of still there.
Yeah.
Like, look at that. Like, that's supernatural. That's not possible.
Yeah, skulls don't bend that way without dying.
At least mine
I'm
doesn't.
a fire starter!
Look, Manos, there's no possible way he can save them both.
Yeah, no way. Yeah, remember in Batman Returns where he couldn't even save that one chick?
If it had been me, I wouldn't have dropped them at exactly the same time.
Oh, yeah. You know, that's one of the things that bothered me most about Batman Returns, how he couldn't save the Ice Queen.
Oh, yeah.
Really, that's one of the things that irritated me most about the film, actually.
He do a lot of real heroic stuff in that movie.
He had plenty of time to jump, and in Forever, I mean, he's pretty much in the same situation with two people, and he saves them.
It's only because the Ice Queen was expendable and irritating.
Yeah, that's true, I guess.
I only minded her death on the principle of the thing.
I don't know.
Not because I actually liked the Ice Princess.
Well, and not so much that I liked the Ice Princess. It made Batman look bad.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, geez, he can't do anything.
He doesn't have to have nipples on that Batsuit.
Yeah, I mean, the Schumacher Batman at least can do stuff in time. Now, this thing actually... Yeah, I think you even brought this up, too. Like, you know, he doesn't want Robin to kill Two-Face, so he kills Two-Face. And I think he does kill Two-Face because he had to premeditate putting all those coins in his utility belt.
What happened, and he doesn't try to save him either.
Yeah, he doesn't.
I think it just been knock him off guard and then fly over and grab him. It's risky, but if he saved them, I guess it's okay.
Yeah.
But really, he just stands there.
Yeah.
How is that not murder?
Yeah, he murdered him. It's like, okay, one more murder.
This is the last time.
It's the final murder for you kids.
Da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da. It's the final murder.
Da-da-da-da. Well, I feel good.
I all right. I didn't have to do that. That was really nice of you, Bruce. Thanks a lot, buddy.
Hey, my family isn't alive anymore.
Man, brings a whole new meaning to that phrase. I'd do anything for you.
Yep.
That's creepy.
Yeah, it is creepy.
Now he's going to become the Emperor, and he's going to come to Batman as a hologram.
Yeah, his clothes are all ripped off. He does look a little deformed.
Thanks for spelling out the character arc. Sure appreciate it.
Yep.
But I guess you have to expect that sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, I got from this that he still retains that memory, and he's just haunted with it.
Yeah.
I love that finally, I remember thinking, finally we got to Arkham Asylum. Because we killed Penguin and Joker, and they never got to be here.
Yeah, and then this guy looks like Mad Hatter.
Well, here's a fun fact. You know what his character name is? Dr. Burton.
Oh, that's right.
And he was supposed to be at the beginning of the film and named. But, and by the way, that's Renee Auberjonois.
Renee Auberjonois, yeah.
Who also is in episodes of Batman.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because, of course, he's got so much makeup caked on, it's hard to tell it's him.
Yeah.
But he's used to having makeup caked on.
Yeah, no kidding.
He's a great actor.
He was. He is.
And he's also done a lot of stage work.
He was also in Benson.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, and of course he acted with William Shatner in Boston Legal.
Oh, and then we have to have this scene where I guess he had Green Goblin disease, where he forgot the secret identity of the superhero.
See, they're the same. Oh.
What's that?
See, they're the same movie. I told you.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
I remember watching this and really relieved, like, wow, they didn't kill a villain.
Yeah. But then, after this, besides Batman and Robin, there are a lot of superhero movies where when you have two, you have to kill one of them.
Yeah.
Another one alive. So this kind of set up a new cliche.
Why can't we have one villain for movies?
Actually, that's not true, because they did the same thing in Returns. That set this up, too, because Returns kept Catwoman alive.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where a lot of this kind of stuff started. I mean, all the Batman films, even the Nolan films, have kind of followed suit with this.
They really have.
Setup. which is amazing. Like how different and how similar the Nolan films are compared to the Schumacher and Burton films.
Well, and one of the points, I'm not sure how well I got this across, that I was trying to make in my Dark Knight review, was that they used a lot of the same formula, but you don't notice it because it's just better plotted and and there's better characterization. So like some of it's there, but you don't really notice it.
Well, Nolan does what you and I have been complaining about with this film specifically, and the other films as well. Like all the stuff, you missed opportunities, and Nolan doesn't really have that problem, at least with Begins and Dark Knight, at least.
He actually broke that formula in Rises though, because he killed both villains.
Yeah.
Come to think of it.
Yeah. And there we go. That's Batman Forever.
Yeah, there it is. So, what should we talk about during the credits here?
Oh, geez, I don't know. Any final thoughts about this film?
I don't know if it was just that I was kind of looking for stuff this time because I figured you wouldn't like this movie as well as me or what, but I think this is the least I've ever liked this movie. Watching this with you. I don't know why. I don't think it's you. I mean, really,
I'm sorry, I did that.
No, it's cool, but I mean, like, you know how you have different experiences sometimes when you watch movies? I can't tell you how many times I've seen this movie. I mean, it's been a lot of times.
Yeah.
I did not enjoy this movie at all this time. And I mean, I guess a lot of it was because we were talking, so like the really good scenes you can't really enjoy because they're the talking parts.
Yeah. It's such a frustrating movie, and Neon
Lighting by Knights of Neon.
I know. That was my metal band when I was a kid. We're gonna be playing the prom. We're the Knights of Neon. Woo! We're gonna be rocking this prom all the way to 7:30. That's when the prom's over.
How appropriate was that? There's actually a credit for who did the neon lighting.
Yeah, I'm sure they went in overtime in the next film.
Oh.
But, I just, I liked the movie for the most part when I first saw it. And, although, I mean, the same problems I have now with the film I had initially with the film, but I think part of the thing is with this film is when Batman and Robin came out, I started to like this movie less. Because what's wrong with Batman and Robin is apparent. See, because the thing was, you could see where he's going when you watch Batman and Robin. Like, when you watch this film, you go, oh, this is the beginning, what he was doing. And yeah, you can make that argument. You can even take that further back to Batman Returns. But, we have a different captain of the ship here, of Schumacher and the heads of Warner Brothers, which, I don't fully blame Schumacher for the things that are wrong, but I do at least credit him for the things that are right in this movie.
Absolutely, because I don't think the studio cared anything about all that Batman psychology.
No, they don't. Are you kidding? They would have loved to cut more, I bet.
One thing that you can really say for Schumacher is you can tell he likes this character and that he's read some Batman comics.
Yeah.
You can't say that about Burton.
It'd be great if...
It's hard to really say, watching the first Batman movie, that Burton himself has read a bunch of Batman comics.
You know what?
I mean, like, the script wasn't his. I guess the script wasn't Schumacher's either, but I'm just saying, like, when you watch interviews with some of the producers of that movie, you can tell which ones were Batman fans.
Yes. Oh, yes. 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 I really doubt that Ava Goldman is a Batman fan.
Yeah, me too.
And you can tell when people have no respect for the genre they're working in. And then, of course, here's the soundtrack. The soundtrack is my favorite. The Batman.
Great.
Now, my favorite song is from Batman Returns, but that's only one song in that movie.
Oh, really? What was that?
The Susie and the Banshees song.
I guess I'll have to go back and hear that. I forgot there was even a soundtrack for that movie.
Well, it's just one song.
Oh, I see.
Not a full soundtrack. The soundtrack for Batman Returns was the score, and then the Susie and the Banshees song, and that was it. This was the only one that had a full soundtrack by different artists instead of just one artist like Prince. And this was the best soundtrack, actually. I mean, like PJ Harvey is on it, and the Flaming Lips, and U2, and there's a couple artists I never heard of that were really great on it. And I mean, I still listen to it to this day. I mean, I haven't seen this is the first time I've seen the movie in years, but I listen to the soundtrack fairly regularly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And what's weird is Batman and Robin didn't have a bad soundtrack either.
Actually, no, it was bad.
That movie, oh really? I thought it had a couple decent songs, but I haven't listened to it in a long time. So.
The couple of decent songs are by Smashing Pumpkins, and it's the same song.
Okay. I couldn't remember if they had any other good songs besides the Smashing Pumpkins song. Was that the only song?
That might be a personal choice. That might be a taste issue, frankly. But I remember getting the Batman and Robin soundtrack and thinking, okay, that was a terrible movie, but at least the soundtrack will be good. But no, I mean, he even failed with that.
Well, it's been a long time since I've listened to it, so I don't really know. But I thought I remembered liking it, but it could be a taste issue.
Well, that Gotham City song from what's that guy's name? The Locked in the Closet guy.
I don't know.
Can't remember. He's a terrible artist, and that song is Gotham City. And oh man, that's awful. But and Joel is on the Batman and Robin soundtrack, which that's all you need to know. Oh, yeah. Maybe I shouldn't end this note on Joel. But
well, since we're all done, I did want to go ahead and announce that Manos and I are going to be doing a commentary for Batman and Robin, and we're going to do it next week. We're going to come right back and do this.
Yeah.
Are you ready for it, Manos?
Can't wait.
We're gonna do it. And everybody, thanks a lot for listening to Geeks Not Nerds, the podcast. Hope you enjoyed it. I had a good time. Manos, thanks a lot for coming on. I know this is the first one of these you've done.
Thank you. I had a ball. I love doing it, and I'm just happy you asked me to do these.
I'm glad to hear it, because I'm really hoping you'll come back and do some more.
Oh, I will. I can't wait.
Well, everybody, thanks a lot once again for listening. I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm the real Manos.
We'll see you very shortly with Batman and Robin. Bye.